I was kind of baffled with how many people had a backlash for signing Craig Kimbrel. Can one of you guys want to enlighten me on your thoughts if you're feeling that way?
People just want to be upset. It really, I think it just comes down to that. It comes down to the point that no matter what the Orioles do, if it's not going to be a Juan Soto, just like the top guy, an Ohtani, people are going to be upset. And they view it as, is Craig Kimbrel Felix Bautista? And I think we need to get everything straight here. Felix Bautista doesn't grow on trees. Like, closers like that aren't just available. There was not going to be someone that we could bring in besides maybe a Josh Hader who could replicate that kind of production. So I think people were upset with that. But at the end of the day, you have to understand the Orioles got better yesterday. And that's the goal. That's Mike Elias every single day wants to make the Orioles better than they were the day before. And it was accomplished yesterday.
Listen, I agree with you, but there are other personalities around the media landscape, I should say. Adam Shine being one of them, was feeling himself today after the Juan Soto signing, and then decided to take a jab at us Oriole fans. Take a listen.
Riddle and weep if you're a fan of the Boston Red Sox. Riddle and weep if you're a fan of the Baltimore Orioles. The Orioles, by the way, signed Craig Kimbrel. I can't even say that without laughing. The Orioles said, you know what? I have a great idea. We just had this great season, great regular season. Didn't trade for any pitching help. Got swept out of the postseason. Why don't we light our bullpen, which is a strength, on fire? And light it on fire. Let the Yankees go get Juan Soto.
So obviously, Adam feeling himself there. But listen, I love Adam. But at the same time, the Orioles don't have to do hardly anything and continue to win. And that was kind of my thoughts on the Kimbrel signing. It needed another arm there. And Ryan, you brought up some really great points about removing two really bad games last year and what his stats were removing those two games towards, I believe, his beginning of last season. So while Adam can feel himself about the Juan Soto signing, and as he should, being a Yankees fan, I don't think that the shots taken at the Orioles and the Kimbrel signing are quite valid. Wouldn't you say?
Oh, no. By the way, I love Adam. He has the great character with it. Yeah, he's a Yankees fan. Let's cut him some slack, everyone. He roots for the Yankees. He's going to have this up and down roller coaster, right? Hey, maybe we'll do a friendly bet with Adam, Brad, about this upcoming season with the Baltimore Orioles and the New York Yankees. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I think the hate for Craig Kimbrel was just unjustified, and not the signing. For every fan that was getting upset about it, why are the Orioles signing him? Okay, let's run through this real quickly. This is let's put on I don't even know what hat I'm going to put on, but I guess I know baseball a little bit, so let me dive into this. Here we go. Ready, set, go. The Orioles were looking for a closer. They needed one. If you want to look at the prices of everyone else that was around, Josh Hader wants a multi-year contract, and his price is going to be, if you thought $13 million for Josh Hader was going to do the job, do the trick, hell no. Ronaldo Lopez on the Chicago White Sox just got to deal with the Braves for 3 years, $30 million. So if you think that if you don't even know who that is, by the way, that just goes to show you, what is Josh Hader going to get? So first off. Secondly, Craig Kimbrel. Yes, I understand everyone's lasting impression is the postseason. 2 games that the Phillies maybe let get away. But let's not also forget the fact that the Phillies didn't close out games in 6 and 7 in Philly. And Craig Kimbrel was a big part of getting the Philadelphia Phillies to the position that they were in. He had 4 scoreless outings beforehand. All right, now let's dive a little bit deeper into Craig Kimbrel. He blew 5 saves last season. Okay? 5. He had 28 opportunities, converted 23 of them. Yennier Cano, great year for Cano. He blew 6 saves in 14 opportunities. Okay? 6 saves he blew in 14 opportunities, and he was not the starter or the closer until Batista was out. And I get it. He also had other games where he was going into the position, right? Where if Batista wasn't available, Cano would go in there for the close. Felix Bautista blew 6 saves, by the way. Some of the best closers in the game, Emmanuel Clase for the Guardians, had a year where he blew 12. Josh Hader blew 5, by the way. And I'm not saying this to say we understand those guys. They're still, you can say, Ryan, they have great stuff. You want to talk about stuff? Let's talk about stuff. Craig Kimbrel, pure stuff, Rocco. How was he graded in the NL?
I was listening to MLB Network the other day, and they said he has, as far as closers go, the best pure stuff as far as NL closers.
And for the price that the Orioles got and the value that you're getting, the Orioles are all about value here, by the way. If we haven't figured this out, they're very particular about what they do and who they go after. Craig Kimbrel, after I just brought this up, and Rocco, you mentioned pure stuff, or when I mentioned it to you, you said he was number 1 in the NL. I would be worried if Craig Kimbrel was declining with his quote-unquote stuff. He threw 69 innings last year, and he punched out 94 guys. So let's just break that down a little bit more. He was top 10 in MLB in K percentage. That means the amount of Ks that he struck out batters and the amount of batters he faced. He was top 10. And then he was top 14 in all of Major League Baseball in strikeouts per 9 innings. So his stuff is still elite, and that's a big part of it. And then as far as his ERA, yeah, the first month of the season, he had 3 outings, 2 of which were uncompetitive or non-competitive, I guess is the right term, non-competitive games, right? They were losing by 1 million to the Rangers. He gave up a 3 spot. Then another, in back-to-back outings against the Dodgers, he gave up another 6 runs. So in an inning and 1 inning and a third, he gave up 9 earned runs. So if I do the math right, carry the 1, he threw 69 innings. You subtract those numbers, he'd have 67 and 2/3 innings, and his ERA would be a 2.14 for the rest of the year. And for people saying, well, he was running out of gas at the end, Ryan, he had a 1.5 ERA in September. I mean, he had 3 of those months where he had an ERA below, and every closer, every pitcher is going to have down months. You just hope that those down months or times are limited. And for Kimbrel, he's proving he can be elite. So for the Orioles, don't you want a guy that you feel like can shoulder and take the criticism, take the negativity, take pressure off of guys like Cano or CNL Perez? Oh, and by the way, the other part of it, these young players like Tyler Wells, who could be in the bullpen, DL Hall, who has electric stuff that could be asked to be in a role. Yeah, they could be closing games for this team too. But you have a guy that's been there and done that. And I know that people are looking at, well, what if he does that, Ryan, like he does in the NLCS? And my point to that is Kimbrel can help you get to the championship series. But to get to the championship series, you got to win in the regular season, and then you got to win in the DS. And then we can talk about it.
And you talked about him running out of gas. One time in his career before this season has he appeared in more than 70 games. And that was his second season in the league when he pitched 79. He appeared in 71 games this year. He threw 1,122 pitches. That's taxing on a guy. You talk about running out of gas. He pitched a lot at 34, 35 years old. I don't know if the O's are going to want to use him as much as the Phillies did, but I mean, he's going to be the full-time closer. He's got the experience. It's a guy that, for O's fans, I think you got the best bang for your buck at that reliever closer role, bringing in a guy like Craig Kimbrel. Yes, he's not the once shut-down closer that he used to be, and that's okay. He's at the, I'd say, tail end of his career, but to get him for the price you got him for, and Orioles fans, some may think it's an overpay at $13 million. What did you just pay Kyle Gibson last year? You paid him 10. What did you pay Jordan Lyles the year before? I'm pretty sure you paid him around 8. So you're getting a veteran guy on a 1-year deal. That's what you got Lyles for. That's what you got Gibson for. Gibson helped the clubhouse out tremendously. Lyles was a veteran presence. Craig Kimbrel can not only do the same thing, but he can be that full-time closer while Felix Bautista misses the entire season with, after undergoing Tommy John surgery. What Craig Kimbrel can brings that veteran presence. He's a 2-3-time reliever of the year. He won the Rolaids Relief Man Award in 2012, and then the 2-time reliever of the year in 2014 and 2017. He's a member of the 300 Save Club. He's a member of the 400 Save Club. This guy, as far as our time goes, is not saying the best, because that would go to Rivera, that would go to Trevor Hoffman. Those are 1-2, knock him down, shut him down. But Craig Kimbrel has to be in the conversation for at least a top 10 closer of our generation right here I'm talking about. Like, the guy can bring it. The club option helps. If he sucks in 2024, you don't have to re-sign him. If he's great in 2024, then you have him for 2025, and he could potentially be a setup guy or a middle to back relief guy for Felix Bautista, for Yennier Cano. I think this is a great addition for the Orioles. I think they addressed one of their biggest, if not the biggest, offseason needs. And now, you know what they can do? They can worry about starting pitching, because that's what Mike Elias said after they brought in Kimbrel. Now we can focus on other things.
Thank you, Rocco.
Ran
And that's
over,
that
sorry.
sports. That's that sports reporter in you. That's being a
stumbled
good
a little
kid.
bit.
Rocco DeSangro, everyone on that. There it is. Really good kid all around. Hey, Zach gave you applause for
Yeah,
a
I was
second.
gonna say. It was
Wow.
over.
Thank you,
He
Zach.
did give
that was
applause.
big for you. That was big.
That was big. Zach
Thanks.
doesn't give that out very
Yeah.
often.
So Ryan, I have a quick question for you.
Yeah, before I go on my rant.
Yeah. Haven't we talked a few times about, are veterans just their on-field ability? Is that the only reason people get veterans?
Yeah, you know what? I think people only get it for their success on the field. You're exactly right. Wrong. If you talk to any Orioles, and we're actually going to play some of these clips in the future, we'll put them out on Twitter. Every Oriole that we had on this show that was involved on the pitching staff, we're talking about Kyle Bradish, Dean Kramer, Tyler Wells. What do you think that they said about Kyle Gibson this past year? You guys think it was positive? I know everyone in this, Zach already knows. There he is. He's a good kid. Rocco knows, Brad knows. But for everyone that's listening, they said that what Kyle Gibson brought last year to the team was invaluable, and not because of what he was doing on the field. That was a bonus in their eyes. The culture, the ability, it matters. Rock, it stinking matters.
It absolutely does, dude. I'll tell you a quick story about Kyle Gibson. Very quick one. When Cole Irvin got sent down, I think he was pitching in Norfolk at the time. He had a bike drive scheduled here in Baltimore. He couldn't do it because he was scheduled to pitch that night. You know who came over to that school to replace Cole Irvin? Not replace him, but to carry that out and do the bike drive for those kids? It was Kyle Gibson. That veteran presence, and I'm not saying there's a bunch of Kyle Gibsons out there, but I feel like in the baseball community, those veterans are invaluable to the clubhouse, what they bring to the team. And to see a guy like that, Craig Kimbrel, maybe he can bring that veteran presence to the back end of the bullpen. Maybe he can relate to some of the country guys that the Orioles have. He's a Huntsville, Alabama native. Gunnar Henderson, he's an Alabama native as well from Selma. That's something that you don't think of. You look at the on-field performance. Philly fans probably still don't like the guy because of the 2 games in the NLCS. But I think that Craig Kimbrel can bring something valuable to the Orioles. And if you think this is a bad signing, you know what? If it is, come back here and you can yell at us, watch this show back and keep the notes, keep the receipts. But I think this is a signing that's going to pay off for the Birds.
Yeah, I mean, you can yell at me. I'm used to being yelled at. What was come after me. I'm a man. I'm 40. I'm not a kid.
Like Gundy.
Yeah, like
You
Gundy.
you don't have as much. You don't have as much hair as Mike Gundy, though, buddy.
I don't. He's got some ched. He's got some.
He's got some lettuce.
I know. He's got Brad hair. He really does. But